everyone, and welcome. I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to join us today for the AI Medical Marketing Takeover, why your competitors are already winning and how to catch up. For those of you who are new to us, Grayton is a result driven healthcare marketing agency focused on helping doctors and medical practices grow their revenue and book more patients. I'm really excited to introduce our speakers today. Zach is our founder and CEO who leads Grayton's vision and brand strategy, and then joining him is Sam, our Chief Operating Officer and lead SEO strategist, the architect behind our AI powered SEO and GEO framework. Together, they'll walk us through how AI is reshaping medical marketing and what you can do right now to stay ahead. And with that, Zach, I'll hand it over to you.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much, Marley. You are the best. And by the way, she also helped put all of this together. So I just wanna say thank you to that. And this is our first webinar. We're really excited. We're gonna be doing a lot more of these. It's been a goal of Sam and I to really get info out there because so much is changing rapidly, and we only have so many resources to help, right? Sometimes some practices, there's budget restrictions or whatever, right? They're just seeking information. We want to get that out there. So we really hope this adds value for you. And so at any point during it, feel free to comment in the chat box. Marley's going to be looking at that and monitoring it and taking some questions from it. And then we'll do some Q&A at the very end of this. And apologies if I am low energy at all today. Been in a bunch of meetings today, but we want to make sure that we are here for you and that we make this as valuable as possible. So with that being said, I'm just going to jump right in because we have a lot to cover. So feel free to take notes or whatever, but we will also send this video out, but we have a lot to cover over the course of this hour. So I'm just going to jump right into this. So as you know, this is the AI medical marketing takeover, why your competitors are already winning and how to catch up. And it sounds like, oh, just this gimmicky, tongue-in-cheek title. It's serious. It really is. The AI medical marketing takeover is here. And in this, we are going to talk about 4 different sections. Okay. Number 1 is going to be the full circle of marketing, from brand to system, back to brand again. I will explain what that means in just a moment here. Number 2 is SEO in the AI era. And as I said, it's not a gimmick. This is a thing that's happening. We will talk about the HubSpot wake-up call that completely tanked one of the greatest marketers in the world. Serious cautionary tale. We will dive into that in a little bit here. Number 3, the human-centric strategy that wins. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. This connects with number 1, but it is the thing that is the strategy for winning. And we want to make sure that we give you the best action plan for 2025 and beyond as number 4. So, Grayton Medical has achieved over 1 billion views for medical brands, and we specialize exclusively in healthcare marketing, right? This is what we do, right? When we first started, we came from a background in Hollywood in the entertainment world, and we ended up actually falling in love with medical, weirdly enough, and we left. And now we focus purely here, and we bring in everything that we've learned about brand and everything we've learned about marketing into the medical space to help improve patient outcomes and help practices onboard more people, even in this AI generation, which we're very excited about. Kind of scared, but very excited because there's so much opportunity. It's like the Wild West right now, and we want to make sure that you're able to take advantage of that. So, what if everything you know about digital marketing is about to become obsolete? Let that sit for a second, because it's happening. Everything that we've been told over the last 15 years it's outdated. And so to dive right in, 91% of practices now use generative AI. That's up from 78% 1 year ago. And I'll be clear, I have never in my entire life seen so many people jumping on a new technology so fast. This is faster than the internet. This is faster than social media was. I was around. I remember growing up, I'm going to be greedy. I consider myself the great generation that I got to live most of my life without social media. And then social media took over towards the very end of my upbringing. And so I saw how fast that rose. AI is way faster. You can look up the numbers of users and for OpenAI's ChatGPT. That's just ChatGPT. That does not include all the other softwares. It is like astronomically growing. It's insane how fast people are adapting to this, and it is becoming a necessity, and it is shaking up everything. I mean, every day we are getting a huge piece of news that changes everything. 56% specifically apply AI to SEO workflows, and those workflows do see improvements. We will talk about that more coming up. And the coveted position number one on Google, the thing that everybody, including us, have been saying, like, you need to be position one. That's not necessarily not true anymore, but the strategy has changed because position number one rankings have seen a 34.5% lower click-through rate because of AI overviews. So if you Google something right now, you look something up and you will see AI gives its description. Well, I'm even guilty if I'll just read the AI overview if it's top of funnel, and I will just look at that and then I'm good. I don't need to click on any website. I don't need to go through blogs. I don't need to go through a bunch of low value content when I can just ask AI, right? And so that does not mean that Google is dead. It is not, but the strategy has changed, and that's what we're here to talk about. This is not theoretical anymore. This is something Sam and I have been saying forever, that AI was coming, right? Like we've been waving those red flags now, and a lot of people in this industry have, and nobody listened. Well, Google finally has made the shift, and it is absolutely demolishing businesses right now. It really is. Like people whose livelihoods are on their website, people who need this for their patients to find them, can't find them anymore, and they're finding their competitor. The shift has already happened, and we want to make sure that you are taking advantage of it and that you're part of the growth, not part of the collapse. So, we're going to talk about the marketing revolution, what we call era one, era two, and era three, right? So, era one, we'll just call the 1990s to 2000s, although it started before the 90s, I know, but just for the sake of easy time frame. The best brand won. Billboards, TV ads, reputation, the practice with the best storytelling won. Era two, 2010s, 2024. This is the era that everybody has known and either hated or loved. Really depends on your outlook on things. That was the best system wins, right? It didn't even matter what your product was. If you had all the SEO tricks, all the ad algorithms, automation, the practice with the best tech stack won. You could be the worst practice in town, and sometimes you are, and you would win, right? You've seen competitors that you're like, what the heck? Their outcomes with patients are terrible. Why are they getting all the patients? Well, they had the best tech stack. Right? They were spending more money on the SEO. They were doing all this and that. Well, welcome to era three, 2025 onward. Now the best brand wins again because AI is equalizing that playing field, which means the most human, authentic, engaging brand wins. And again, we are going to dive heavily into that and what that means. So let's look closer at era one. So in the 1990s, 2000s, that was when brand was king. Word of mouth was absolutely everything, right? So that's where we hear people that are still talking about radio, billboards, flyers, all this and that. Some of that can work, but like we've been telling people for years, that was like dinosaur marketing, right? And it still kind of is. If you're wasting your money on a lot of that stuff, like super not recommended unless it's like bonus money. It can still add, but like it's really not where you should be putting your money. So not to attack anybody. Every location's a little different. Sometimes radio can perform okay. Anyway, during this time, that was the only way, right? And so reputation and community mattered most. People needed to see your name, they needed to see your messaging, they needed to feel confident of who they were. The doctor with the best bedside manner was winning, right? Marketing was storytelling, not systems, right? Traditional marketing was king. And so success was measured on how well you connected with humans. Then came era two, right? Social media took off. Google became the number one. That was after Google had its rise in 2010. By that point, they had taken over. Suddenly, everything was the system takeover, right? Google algorithm mastery, Facebook ads optimization, SEO keyword stuffing, which, like, if you're keyword stuffing, do not do it. Sam, I'm sure, will praise that a lot more, but like, don't do it. SEO keyword stuffing will like tank your reputation. Just don't do it if it's something you do. And if you don't know what that means, I would highly recommend speaking to somebody or talking to your team to see if they're doing it. Marketing automation became a big thing. Landing page, A/B testing, right? It was all about the tech stack. Conversion rate optimization, like all these buzzwords where people were more focused on the technical ability than they were actually connecting to people. So who had the best tech stack and knew the most tricks was the winner. Now, what was the problem with Era 2? Well, in my mind, it's pretty obvious. As somebody that's always very much cared about the psychology behind marketing and connecting to humans, what got lost in translation was that we optimized for algorithms, not for patients. That's a big problem, right? And you can see it, right? With the rise of private equity climbing, everybody was focused just on tech stack, right? They just wanted the best system, and marketing became disconnected from the care itself. Patients have felt like numbers, not people. And you can talk to people day to day, talk to your patients, ask them these things. We hear it all the time that patients just don't feel confident in what it is that they're going to, right? They feel left behind. And I don't think that's the problem with the practice. I think it's the problem of era two that we were living in. It's just how the internet made you feel. And so practices focused on hacks instead of the humans. And the best practice was not always the most visible. Sometimes that worked out if they happened to spend money in the tech stack, but it really was whoever was putting the most money there. But in came AI and it changed everything. And officially in 2025, especially towards the end of 2025, where we're at now, you saw that big change fully exploding. You've seen the outcomes that have happened from it, and it's only beginning, by the way. So, everything we're about to say, keep in mind, it's only going to accelerate at a faster rate. I've never seen acceleration in any technology as fast as I have AI, and it's both exciting and terrifying. You know, we could talk about Terminator and all that, but we're here to talk about marketing. So, we got to go with what's working right now, and we got to go with where the future is going. And right now, it is AI. And what does AI do for your marketing? It accelerates SEO research and execution, increasing your bandwidth, writes ad copy at scale, which be careful about that, but it can help a lot, creates content instantly, right? Videos and graphics, while it's not perfect, it's better than nothing. But if you have people to help work with it, really, really can add to your campaigns and make it better. And it manages campaigns automatically. And again, don't recommend it, right? You could just click PMax campaign or whatever on Google or go on Meta and just use their automated campaigns. Not recommended, but people are doing it and they're seeing, well, mixed results, and it's getting more mixed by the day, but we'll explain why that is in a little bit here. And it analyzes data in real time, right? So 91% of practices, as I mentioned, they use generative AI already. You do not want to be left behind. 56% apply it specifically to SEO. 45% traffic boost for AI adopters. So those that are using AI and they're using it properly are seeing a boost in their traffic because of it. 38% conversion rate increase. That's huge, and there's specific reason why that we'll talk about shortly. 1 in 5 teams improved productivity by 50%. You can get way more done, and you can focus on more of the right things and less of the tedious things with AI. And so 50% of employees using AI save at least 5 hours per work week. Now imagine if everybody that's in the marketing world at your practice suddenly started adopting AI strategies, added some of their automation, and then they started spending those 5 hours per week on things that really moved the needle forward. Things that we're going to talk about in a little bit here are the game changers, and that also make you more proud of the company that you are and the practice you are, right? And we want to focus on helping the patient. So those hours are hugely important, and your employees will thank you greatly. And your competitors, they're already winning with AI. You can see it online. Go look at their websites. And the ones that are using it, depending on the cities you're in, they are starting to take the lead if they have not already taken the lead. So we call Era 3 the authenticity revolution. Because I know everybody's always focused on it's dying, it's dying, it's dying. And yeah, the system era is dying. But we call it the authenticity revolution because I consider it the return to marketing. As I said at the beginning, brand to system, back to brand again. This is the full cycle. This is the cycle that exists throughout all of human history, right? At the end of the day, human will always win. Even though I know everybody's scared of AI and all this and that, it's just putting the power back in the human hands. And so what that means is what wins now is genuine human connection, authentic storytelling, real patient experiences. People want to hear testimonials. They want to see reviews. They will not go to your clinic without these things, or at least the majority won't. You might still convert some, but your conversion rate will increase exponentially if they're hearing from real patient experiences. Transparent communication. People are sick of the lies. You see it everywhere on the internet. I don't trust anything on the internet these days, which means it requires smart branding and marketing for me to trust something. You can feel the humanity, you can feel the heart behind it. And I'm sure you can see that as well. We are becoming better at seeing that things are just fake or advertising. Go on social media. You get more ads than you do content these days. In fact, it's really annoying. But yeah, there's just ads everywhere. And that means that brand personality and values are what matter most. Focusing on user experience that feels personal is what matters most. Everything going forward in marketing is all about the user. Don't worry about what works for the trick, for the hack to trick people into buying what you're selling. We don't want that anymore. That's done. We want to make the experience so good for patients that they can't help but go to you because they want to. That is the impact that we're talking about today. And so here's the shift you need to make. The old playbook that's dying, as I mentioned, SEO keyword stuffing, do not stuff. I'm just going to say it over and over again. Don't do it. Clickbait headlines, which, the news is still doing, and they're slowly dying out. You can see it in their numbers, right? Like clickbait headlines are dying, and AI is starting to flag that. Generic stock photos, robotic ad copy. And when I mean robotic ad copy, I literally mean robotic ad copy. The entire internet, and there are studies showing it, is just being so saturated with ChatGPT. It is ridiculous. Like, it looks horrible. If you're doing it on your website, if you're doing it in your emails, like, don't do it. As somebody that has grown accustomed to what that reads and what that feels like, it's so abundantly obvious, and I'm sure it will get better over time. But it is so awkward. It lacks the humanity. It's basically pretty words that say nothing, right? It's so annoying. Don't do it. And please, I get emails from people that they're just copy pasting ChatGPT. Don't do that. Like, please, like, don't do that. Anyway, conversion rate hacks, they're dead. There's no more hacks. It's about the human now. In personal automation, blog posts and text. The reason why blog posts and text don't work anymore is people care more about things like video. So that's part of the new playbook that's winning, right? Authentic content actually helps people, right? I know that's like shocking, but we want content that helps people. And if it doesn't help them, you probably shouldn't put it, right? Real stories from real patients, testimonials, those are so huge and so important, and it makes such a difference. Video of actual doctors and staff talking about the product, answering frequently asked questions, going on social media, whether it's TikTok and Instagram, and really like face to face with the patient, answer questions that they're going to ask in the consultation. And that helps in so many ways that we'll talk about more. Human first messaging. It's key. Focus on the patient. Don't focus on the sale, focus on the patient. Exceptional user experience. If the bar was here before in user experience, and then with your tech stack, it went to here, well, with AI, the baseline is here. You want everything now up here with the human side, right? We now need exceptional to stand out. You can't like just kind of put it in the background. You really, really need to make sure that you're focusing on creating the best user experience possible. That will get the best results. And that means personalized communication at scale. If people have AI to talk to that's trained specifically on your practice, and it's on your website as a chat bot of some sort, or emails and texts that are going out when they're trying to book an appointment, and if everything is automated and personalized to them, it feels like you care about them. They don't need to wait to call your practice. And I know lots of people that are like, oh, but we like talking directly to our patient. That's great. You're going to have plenty of time to talk to them. But I hate telling you, they don't enjoy talking to you at the beginning, at least. They will grow used to you and they will like you once they are in the door. But at the beginning, they want to communicate in the way that's easiest for them. And sometimes that is at 1 a.m. when they are getting ready to actually make a decision. And if you're not available at 1 a.m. to book an appointment right away, they're going to go to somebody that is available at 1 a.m. So unless you want to staff people 24/7, use AI and customize it directly to your patient. And use video as a primary source material. And so what that means is video went from a nice to have to a need to have. And it's been a huge shift in search. Now, I've always been a huge champion for video, right? Before I even got into medical marketing, I was literally a professional music video director in Hollywood. I love video, right? Everything I consume online is video. I'm part of that generation. But it used to always be a luxury, right? We would always tell people, like, hey, and if you have extra budget, you should put some of that into video. However, at the end of the day, you now have to, because the numbers are showing that AI is changing the game. So before 2025, video was just bonus, right? It was a luxury to have. Text based articles were primarily the thing that drove SEO. It's not the case anymore. Video was just for engagement, not necessarily discovery. But here's the reality now. Google is prioritizing videos in its AI overviews. So when you search something, it is going to feed you videos. And not only that, a lot of its answers it's pulling from transcripts, because guess what? Google owns YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search platform in the world. So, of course, they're going to utilize all the transcripts within the video content. And they also just know users just prefer videos. I know I do, and a lot of people do. If you're watching this webinar, you likely prefer video as well. And so visual demonstrations replace text answers, and video is a source material for AI. Here's some numbers. There's 45 billion searches daily across all platforms. Now, that's all platforms, right? Google is 32% of that. So that doesn't include YouTube, that doesn't include TikTok, Instagram, that's just pure Google search. 20 to 27% of patients use voice search regularly. And that's just to sort of show the shift. People don't even want to write anymore, let alone read, right? They're just talking directly to their phone now. It's getting more and more automated. 3 out of 4 Gen Z users purchase after video exposure, meaning they're not even going to go to you unless they watched a video, right? So they need to see something. And imagine what Gen Alpha is going to be, right? This is only getting worse or better depending on your view. Again, I love video. I'm happy people are using it more, but I know a lot of people are overwhelmed by it. And so, what does that look like in application? It's as simple as look at the FAQs on your website. Think of the things people ask you during consultations and turn each one of those things into a different video. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. It doesn't need to be something super high quality, although that certainly can help your brand. But at the end of the day, you just want something, right? So, what do you do after X diagnosis, right? Make that a video. Understanding your treatment options for your illness, video, right? What do I expect during surgery? Video. Meet your care team, intro, video, right? Like, we want to make sure that you have a video for everything and just keep building that library. That library is going to feed you. It's evergreen, right? The good thing is it's not like something that you do and then you have to keep doing to see results. That stuff compounds over time. So the more you have, the more that people interact, the higher your rankings get. You are future proofing your practice with things like that. If your competitors are creating educational video and you're not, you are invisible to AI generated answers. And you do not want that. That is not a good place to be in right now. And here's the multi platform search reality, right? So, as I mentioned, 45 billion daily searches across all platforms. 32%, so 14 billion plus daily searches. So 32% is Google. YouTube is the second largest search engine. So a video platform where people watch video is the second largest search engine. Keep that in mind. If you're not on YouTube, it's a big deal across so many different things, but it is a big deal. Then there's TikTok. Gen Z's Google, right? Like most people I know get their news, get everything from TikTok. Now, I will be clear. I try to avoid TikTok because it is so addictive. And I say that to say it's so addictive, right? That's why everybody's on it. You have to be on it. You don't want to lose out on that audience because most people can't pull away from the screen. It's literally created to keep you on there. Make sure your content is some of what pops up. Then you have AI native search, whether that's ChatGPT, Perplexity, Grok, Claude, Google Gemini, right? There's so many, and they're getting more and more popular. ChatGPT, of course, holds the top spot right now, but all of it is getting so popular. And so that means if you're optimizing only for Google, which many people are, you are missing 68% of searches. That might not seem like a big deal, but 68% of searches, right? So let's say Google pipeline dies. Let's see the thing everybody's scared of, which we don't think is going to happen, but let's say the thing that everybody is scared of happening, Google drops off and nobody's using it anymore. Not everybody's number one forever, right? Okay. So does that mean you lose all your business? You don't want to be in that position, right? You want to optimize everywhere. So what does this mean for medical practices? So traditional Google SEO is still important. 70% of health searches start here. Keyword is start. It does not end there, right? It's just not sufficient enough to be only on Google. So that means for requirements, you need to have an educational video library. You have to, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, preferably all of it. And you can reuse a lot of that same content across multiple platforms. Your Google business profile, your local dominance, hugely important. Those reviews make a big impact still very much focus on acquiring all of your 5-star reviews on as many platforms that you can. ChatGPT and Perplexity, AI citation strategy, hugely important, right? As AI gets more popular, as it's being used a lot more, it's going to take over more and more and more and more. So make sure that you are focusing on strategies for GEO, which Sam will talk about in just a minute here. Make sure you're focusing on that because it does make a huge impact. Then social media, short form educational content. So take that long form you're putting on YouTube and on your website, turn it into short form content, and make sure you're saturating online. Very important. Now, the winner in 2025 is going to be the practice that shows up everywhere for patient search, not just on Google, right? We like to say SEO, which is usually search engine optimization. We like calling it search everywhere optimization because that's the reality, right? People are searching everywhere. And I can give you an anecdotal story, for instance. I just chose a new dentist, right? I wasn't happy at the clinic that I was at. And so, power of the patient, I was able to go and find a new one, right? So I started doing my research. In that time, I was looking endlessly on Google first. That's where I began. And I was sifting through everything and I was looking specifically for more of a mom and pop shop. And so I found some, the reviews were good, but I couldn't find one that I liked. And then I found one that was a little further away from me. So I was willing to drive 40 minutes to this clinic. It wasn't even right next door, but there was a lot of video content online. And I looked at it and I just liked the doctor. I really did. The way he communicated, it felt like I felt at home and I hadn't even walked in yet. Right. And I was like, I trust this guy. I trust him with my health. That was hugely important because I felt like at other places, I felt like I was being lied to or I was just being kicked out quick. I didn't feel listened to. And those videos made the difference. And I chose his clinic rather than everybody else. And I was looking at probably 5 to 10 different clinics. So it makes a big difference. That's just anecdotally me, but I promise you the stats show everybody is doing the same exact thing that I was. So, what stopped working and why? AI detects manipulation. And don't even look at it as that the engine is changing the game and making it harder for everybody else. Like, no, 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 no. They are treating the patient, the customer, as top priority. It is making the user's life easier. So they're catching things that make the user's quality of life and search worse. Anything that is not focused on the patient equals bad, right? Patients are smarter now. And if they're not smarter from an IQ standpoint, they at least have access to more tools that have them create better decisions, right? They can use AI now, they can use Google, they can go on social media, right? They have access to more resources. It's like an encyclopedia at their hands at all times to figure out the business they want to go to. And when it comes to medical, people take that extremely seriously. And as you know, they should. They want to go to the best. They shouldn't go to somebody that's going to mess them up, especially when it comes to things like surgery. So they trust reviews and authentic content that they can just tell when something's just marketing, right? And AI is leveling that playing field. And so if everyone has access to the same optimization tools, right? As I said, if the bar was here, okay, and then AI or before AI, all these tricks got you here. Well, AI makes the baseline here. So that means you now need to go up here. And the way to do that is through that human connection, right? The authenticity revolution. That is how you do it. And so the differentiation comes from brand, not from the systems anymore. The systems are now a requirement, and the brand is the thing to make you stand out. And so we really want to focus on that going forward. So here's the new competitive advantage. Here's the math formula, right? Excellence in care, which we know you already do great. You wouldn't be here if you didn't already, right? You already have an existing practice. It's already growing and scaling. Plus, AI powered systems. If you don't have those yet, you need to make sure that you get those in place, but it's not enough. Then you have to add in human driven marketing, right? That's the third piece to the equation. Take some time to get the AI system set up, but once it's there, it will help you out. Then that human driven marketing makes the difference, right? Humans handle strategy and execution. AI handles tedious work for the scale. Together, you create authentic content that actually connects with patients. That's the biggest thing. It's not about selling to patients, it's about connecting with patients. And anybody that's frustrated by that, just remember, do you want what's best for your patient? That means your website, all the content you create, everything is to make them happier. And it can make your life easier, by the way, because if they go in not standoffish, then they're not asking you a bunch of annoying questions because they've already watched videos online, or you could send them a video library and say, hey, before your surgery, watch this stuff, right? So think about what connects with them and what makes their life easier. If it doesn't make it easier, you should think about getting rid of it. And so Sam will go more in depth on this, but this is what I was talking about. HubSpot, one of the world's best marketing companies, lost 85% of their traffic. So what happened to HubSpot, right? Why is it a warning for every single practice? Why does that affect you? They're not medical, so why would it affect you? And how do you protect and grow your visibility? And what is the SEO strategy that actually survives AI?
All right. Thank you, Zach. And again, if you guys have any questions on the deep dive that Zach went into, be sure to add your questions in the comments in the chat. So now I want to go into SEO in the AI era and how to survive and thrive. And I'm going to go through some actionable steps that you guys can take today and implement into your practice. So as Zach was saying, we want to use HubSpot as our cautionary tale. They had a huge traffic collapse that shook the SEO industry. And they essentially went from 24 million visitors per month to 3 million visitors per month, which resulted in 85% in traffic drop. Now, 3 million is still a lot. And HubSpot, at the end of the day, they're going to be okay. But for any smaller website or a site that has lower domain authority, a traffic hit like this could take years to recover from, or you're just absolutely wiped out and have to start all over. So when we take a deeper look at what was actually happening behind the scenes at HubSpot, we see that they were going after all these keywords that were completely unrelated to their business, and they got slammed for that. And now, instead of going after completely top of funnel irrelevant keywords, which worked for a little bit for them, it just doesn't work anymore. And now they're focusing on what they're truly about, which is their products and their brand. So you want to go after search terms and keywords where you have topical authority and the most relevance. Play to your strengths. Where are you seen as the authority in your niche? And one way of doing that is to target all of your services and all the different use cases that your service fulfills. So again, don't target unrelated keywords. Don't focus on creating massive amount of pages with thin content. It's a waste of time and energy. Just try to dominate your marketplace first. So HubSpot, they adjusted their strategy and now they're focusing on four main metrics, which is they want brand searches to go up, they want mentions across websites and social to go up, and they want their sentiments to increase. They want to recover from this. They want people to feel good about them again. And so they're calling this the great decoupling. So why traffic doesn't equal rankings anymore. So the coveted position number one spot is now seeing a 34.5% drop in clicks due to AI overviews. Now, that doesn't mean you don't want position one. It still has its place, but now we need to look at it a little differently. 60% of searches also end without clicks. And I'll go into a little bit more later, just a moment, of what that actually means. 40 to 60% of AI citations are changing monthly. That means AI is looking for the most up-to-date content and the one that answers a user's questions the fastest and in the quickest way possible. So HubSpot isn't an isolated case. This is a systematic shift affecting everyone. So there are three forces that killed traditional SEO. Number one is Google's AI overviews. So answers appear directly in search now. Users don't need to click on anything. Traffic is diverted from websites now, as you can just get your answer answered immediately in the AI overview. So 49% of click through after AI answers. That means 51% of websites never even get clicked anymore. So number two, that resulted into what we're calling zero click searches. 60% of searches now end without a single click. So featured snippets, they're stealing traffic. AI summaries are replacing website visits. So now it's a different strategy that needs to be approached. And number three, AI detection of SEO content. So Google's AI identifies content written for algorithms, thin keyword stuffed content that gets buried, and then anyone that's trying to game the system are now getting punished. And a direct correlation of what we're seeing from those sites that were gaming the system are 90% of those sites got eliminated due to Google's August 2025 core algorithm update. So if your practice is doing any of these things, you're at risk. So if your content is written for algorithms and not patients, or you're chasing search rankings instead of solving patient problems, or your content lacks medical expertise and your original insights, and if your user experience is frustrating. Put yourself in your patient's shoes. Is it easy for them to contact you? Is it easy for them to call you? Is your appointment process seamless, or is it frustrating? If any of those things are your site, that's a great place to start. And the statistics don't lie. 70% of all online health searches begin on Google, and 46% of monthly searches have local intent. So people are looking for the practice around their area. Are you showing up when people are searching for knee surgery in New York or nasal relief in Atlanta? Make sure that you're showing up for those local searches as well. And 18% of local searches are from mobile, and that leads to an appointment within 24 hours. So again, you want to make sure that your booking process, your appointment process, is seamless and it's not frustrating for your patients. So the reality is AI rewards sites that serve humans best, period. And now I want to go into generative engine optimization, GEO, and what that actually means. So here are some numbers for you. Only 12% of AI citations rank in Google's top 10. And 40 to 60% of those AI citations change monthly. So Google and AI are looking for content that is up to date. You don't need to rank number one anymore to be cited by AI. You can be in position 40, 50, 80, as long as your content is formatted for web and mobile, your content is going to be served by AI. Google accounts for only 32% of 45 billion daily searches. So what that means and why it matters is that this proves that GEO isn't just a rebrand of SEO. It's a fundamentally different game with different rules. So how do you build a sustainable SEO strategy for your own medical practice? Well, here's the reality. Where you've probably been told that you need to do weekly blog posts to stay relevant, and that you constantly need to create and update your content to maintain rankings, and that you need to focus on trending health topics to capture that traffic. And you're probably thinking, Sam, I don't have time for that. I'm a doctor. I'm not a content creator. What do I need to do? And at Great Medical, we've built a framework specifically for this reality. So our approach is a little bit different to traditional SEO. We focus on the 20% that truly matters. And part of that approach is something called compact keywords. So these are patients that are searching for specific solutions that you offer, not just general info. And we create bottom of funnel pages, essentially pages that are designed for sales. And what that essentially means is these are pages that are going to be showing up for people that are seriously looking to buy. They probably have their credit card out at that moment, but they just haven't found the brand to fulfill their need. And we position you to be that brand. And also, this framework allows you to be algorithm resistant. These are durable strategies that don't require you to have to constantly be updating and refreshing your content. So, what this actually means for you, we're not constantly asking you for blog topics. We're not constantly asking for content creation every single week. This is low maintenance and high conversion focused. So we build bottom of funnel pages that work for months and years, not just weeks. And we only update when it's absolutely needed. So why does this matter? Google's AI identifies content written for algorithms, thin keyword stuffed content gets buried, and system gaming strategies get punished, just like what HubSpot was doing. So the shift from that, SEO went from ranking for keywords to GEO, which shifted to be the trusted source that AI references. So now I want to go into an SEO GEO strategy. And the core principle of this is to make the best user experience and you win. So what does this mean? Number one, answer real questions. What patients actually ask in depth and helpful content, not just keyword lists. Number two, create genuine value. You want content that solves problems, not for vanity's sake. Add original insights and your expert perspective. You have all this years of knowledge. Be sure to include that for originality. Number 3, optimize for humans first. That means your website, you want to make sure that it has fast loading times, it's easy to navigate, and you want to create a mobile first experience, as most of your audience is going to be coming from mobile. So you want to make sure that that information is as easily accessible. 53% of users abandon a website if it takes longer than 3 seconds to load. So the attention span nowadays is pretty short. So you want to make sure that your site is loading fast, and search engines will reward you for that. And number 4, you want to build trust signals. You want to have verified reviews, any testimonials, any of your credentials that you can prominently display, and you want to be transparent with your process. That's going to be key. And any patient success stories is a bonus. So here's a 5-step AI proof SEO strategy for you that you can implement today. So number 1, audit your current content. Remove any thin, unhelpful pages, consolidate any duplicate content, and that means pages that have the exact same copy, but you're just probably changing a few words here and there. You want to consolidate that when you can. And identify what's genuinely valuable and is working on your site. Number 2, focus on what we call EEAT. That stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. So, experience, show real patient outcomes. For your expertise, you want to highlight any credentials that you can. For authoritativeness, you want to get cited by peers, other websites, other trusted sources in your industry. You want to make sure that you're being cited on those. And for trustworthiness, again, build reviews, build testimonials. They go such a long way. Number 3, optimize for the user experience. Again, attention spans are short nowadays, so you want to make sure that your website is loading within under 3 seconds. And that's for mobile and for desktop. They're two separate things. You don't want to just optimize for desktop and think that your mobile is all good. It's a very different experience. And mobile first design actually weighs heavier for search engines. So if you focus on a mobile first design, and at the end of the day, that's going to be what is rewarded by search engines. So also think about your conversion path. When someone clicks onto your website, is it clear for them to book an appointment with you? Is it easy for them to contact you, whether it's by phone or email? And then make sure that your site is accessible to all users in all ages. 53% of patients are going to leave if your site is slow. And number 4, build citation worth authority. You can build comprehensive content that AI systems cite. So, in depth patient guides with original medical insights, and then establish external credibility. Get featured on other authoritative medical sites and publications and credible sources in your industry. And then number 5, as we said before, implement a video strategy. 20 to 27% of Google searches are voice searches on a regular basis. We're shifting from text to video now. And Google prioritizes video in AI overviews. So if you have a video answering an FAQ that focuses on your patient's pain point and challenges, chances are your video is going to be served in that AI overview. Because at the end of the day, if a blog is answering that question or FAQ is answering that question in 1,000 words, but a video can answer that in 30 seconds, patient's going to choose a video over reading a blog. So some examples of some video strategy that you can incorporate today are patient education videos, doctor expertise videos, and transparency of your process. Think about common pain points and challenges and how can you educate your patients through video, any expertise that you can add, and then be transparent about your process. What can they expect when they come in for a consultation, when they come in for a visit, as transparent as you can. And now I want to go through a case study from a practice that we worked with. So before they started working with us, they were focusing on 50 plus blog posts per month. They were keyword stuffing in their content and they were using generic stock images, but that was resulting in 3,000 monthly visitors per month on average, which still really great numbers. But they were only converting about 12 of those patients on their site. So something was definitely causing some friction and there was a disconnect that was happening. So after we started working with them and we came up with a strategy, we started creating 15 in-depth valuable guides for them. and we focused on answering their patients' pain points and challenges. We created videos with the doctors there so that people could get used to seeing their face, and that helped build their trust and authority and credibility with their target audience. And with implementing that, we were able to increase their traffic from around 3,000 monthly visitors to an average of over 8,500 monthly visitors. But not only that, we improved their conversion rate so that that traffic converted to 47 new patients per month. And that was just from web. That's not including referrals or word of mouth. And that resulted in an ROI increase of 292% in patient acquisition. And that was roughly in about a 6-month time frame. The old way is expensive SEO agencies that are focusing on algorithm chasing. They're focusing on a tech stack of, having the biggest advantage. They're relying on tricks and hacks, but as we've seen with HubSpot, that's not working anymore. And sites that are using those tricks and hacks are getting penalized. So the new way is you want to have AI handle technical optimization, focus on being excellent, be as authentic as you can, and the best brand wins. So your advantage is you're a medical expert, you have real value, and AI just makes it easier for you to share that value authentically. And some industry data for you is AI powered SEO delivers roughly around 30 to 45% increase in traffic and a 38% increase in conversions. So, what happens next? Use HubSpot as a cautionary tale, as a warning. Practices that are still using these old tactics will see a traffic collapse. HubSpot's going to be okay at the end of the day, and they're going to bounce back. But smaller sites, you're just going to get crushed and severely penalized by search engines. And it can take years to bounce back, or in some cases, you just have to start from scratch. So, the promise from our end is that practices that embrace a human centric marketing approach will dominate, and AI rewards authenticity. So, adapt now or watch your competitors do it first. 91% of practices are already using AI. That's the reality. And the cost of waiting, your competitors are gaining 45% more traffic. Their sites are converting 38% more visitors. Their teams are saving 5+ hours per week per employee. And the gap just continues to compound month over month. No, I threw a ton of information at you. And so now we want to open the floor up to some Q&A.
Thank you, Zach and Sam. That was incredible. I think a lot of practices don't realize how much has already changed with AI in healthcare marketing and how fast it is moving. With that being said, we've had some great questions come through, so let's jump straight into the Q&A. Sam, I saw a great one for you. Does advertising still work in 2025 or has it become irrelevant?
Well, I'm going to use everyone's favorite answer, and it depends. Short answer, yes, paid ads do work, but it depends on how you're using them. The reason why we heavily focused on building a strong foundation for your brand and SEO first is that so you're set up for success before you start spending all this money on ads. Because a lot of practices think that once you start paying and throwing money at ads, that they're just going to start seeing results right away. And of course, there are some outliers, but in most cases, what we see is minimal results with a ton of wasted ad spend because their ad pipeline just has leaks in it. So you can think of it like if you run ads before you start optimizing those things, it's like turning on a faucet over a bucket full of holes. So that's why we want to prioritize fixing your website's conversion rate, want to optimize for your patient journey, put ourselves in their shoes. And we also want to set up a fast response system so that you can actually capture those leads that you're paying for. So I would say once you set up that solid foundation, then yes, ads are still incredibly effective.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Zach, are patients really using AI to find doctors, or is this all just hype?
I'll steal a playbook from Sam and say it depends on your view on it. So yes, technically AI is hype. Quite literally, even if you look at the stock market, right? It is the AI bubble right now. There's all this hype and anticipation into AI. No doubt about that. But there was also hype around Google and the internet and cell phones and TikTok, right? Like there is a tech hype surrounding it for sure. However, the way to look at it is, let's flash back to the popularization of Google search. Everybody was using the old way, as I called the dinosaur way, right? Like the Arrow One marketing. And when Google took over, a lot of people were like, it's just hype. People don't want that, right? They want billboards, they want flyers, they want radio ads, they want the real human approach. Well, that became untrue, objectively speaking, as time went on. And those that didn't jump on it got more and more expensive to compete in it, right? If you would have come on early age Google, you would have spent far less money. The same is true for meta advertising. Like meta advertising now, today, costs 10 times the amount, if not more, than what it used to when you first started doing meta ads, and it was way more effective then than it is now, because now it's oversaturated, right? And so TikTok, that was the most recent one that happened, where everybody was like, do I need to be on it? And we would see every practice and say, you're not on TikTok. And they'd be like, oh, well, we don't like TikTok. We don't think it's a good fit for our practice. Well, fast forward. Now TikTok is the most popular video platform in the world. It's very addictive. Everybody is on it. And now everybody knows they have to be on it. Now it's the buzz, right? But they waited so long before it became the thing. And so let's assume that AI, and I'm basing it loosely on averages I've seen online, so you can double check these numbers yourself. But let's just say AI is taking a marketplace of 2 to 4% of search volume is coming from AI right now. Well, AI is brand new. And out of, 41 billion searches daily, 2% of that is a pretty large amount. 4% is a pretty large amount. But that's just year one. What's that going to become in the next year and the following year? And it compounds more and more and more. As I said, this is the fastest growing thing. I mean, literally, look at all the AI data servers going up. Like, I swear our planet is going to look like the nerd in me is coming out, but like the Death Star from space, right? Like, you can already see it around the globe, that you can visibly see giant data server farms, and there's more and more popping up in every state. And so, sure, is it hype right now? Yeah, it is. It always begins as hype, and that hype is not dying down. And I can tell you, and I assure you, if you are not jumping in on it early, you're just going to pay the premium later and have to pay the fee of the decrease in traffic and decrease of patients, which could potentially mess up your practice quite a bit for a period of time, and then you have to rebuild up, and nobody wants to be in that position. So yes, it is hype, but that does not mean that it is not happening and that it's not already here. And so really pay attention to it. And the question is, do you want to be innovative, or do you want to kind of fall behind on this and not future proof your practice and then pay the premium later? And I can tell you, the smarter approach is objectively do it now. I've been telling people for years AI was coming. Everybody said the average public wouldn't use it, that it wasn't valuable. Well, everybody turned out to be wrong in that scenario. And objectively, it is changing everything, including the way that people are even diagnosing patients right now in the medical sector. It's becoming more and more AI driven. So, yes, hype, but that does not mean it's not important. Make sure you're ahead of the curve on this.
I completely agree. I use AI every day. Sam, I saw a great SEO question for you. Let me just find it. What is the right mix between humans and AI, especially when it comes to SEO?
There's definitely a sweet spot in finding the right balance. I want to make it clear that you don't want to use AI to do 100% of the work. You don't want to use AI to 100% automate your SEO process. It's not AI versus humans, it's the humans that can utilize AI in the most effective way and use it together. So an approach that we find that works really well, that sweet spot, is to use AI to build your base content, have it do the heavy lift, and then still incorporate your human editorial process to make it better. You don't want to rely on it 100% because it's still being worked on. It's still being, you know, tweaked with. So at the end of the day, there still needs to be a human component at the end that's looking at the final and making sure that, one, it's in alignment with your brand. It's talking how your brand speaks. It's using the right tone. It's not using AI fluff and marketing fluff and jargon. So at the end of the day, use AI to do the heavy lift, build that foundation of the base content, and then incorporate your human editorial process at the end to finalize it and make it better.
Yeah, and actually I'm gonna jump in on this one too, because this is I feel like something that we talk about internally in like a really passionate capacity that we've been talking about now for years, and how this works. Because everywhere you see, everybody's always like, oh, everybody's going to lose jobs because AI, what are humans going to do, and this and that, right? And well, sure, there's going to be some jobs that I'm sure sadly go outdated. There's going to be new jobs that come out. And I feel like when we're talking about that human AI connection, right? So I think objectively, especially as AI gets better, AI as a baseline will be better than a lot of average human performers at most tasks, especially tasks involving the internet, right? Even creative tasks, that's getting better and better. So if AI is the baseline, right? How do you increase from the baseline if everybody has access to AI, right? Unless you have access to some exclusive AI that nobody else has, which the chances of that are going to be very, very slim. Uh, and so at that point, the only way to level it up is add a human in the mix, and human plus AI. If you add the right human to it, somebody with a vision, somebody that understands what your practice needs, understands how to communicate with people, you put those together and that bar suddenly skyrockets. And so even with our team internally, Sam and I have done everything we can to make sure that every time we implement AI into our systems, which we do all the time, at that point, we need to make sure we put the right human in play to elevate the output of the AI. And that, therefore, their job isn't in trouble, right? We don't want to get rid of anybody. But at the same time, we also want to make sure we're hitting the base standard that AI is able to hit and then surpassing that. So, yeah, just really make sure like you always have the right person in play. Human is going to be the only way to stand out when everybody's using AI. And I promise you, based on trajectory of technology, most people are just going to use AI because most people choose the easy, lazy route, and it's going to work for a minute. And it was working for a minute and it's starting not to work. So the only way to stand out, back to human and back to, as we said, the best brand wins rather than the best system.
I completely agree. I think to wrap it up for the Q&A, let's do one more question. Zach, here's a great one for you. If a practice could only focus on one thing right now, what should it be?
Everything. No, that's probably that's probably not the answer we're looking for here, but it's partly true. Hold on, let me. Okay. Um, so I would say the most accessible thing that you can do that hits the most amount of notes possible, that's just the easiest to get going, is video. And I know we talked about it a lot early on in the presentation, but like, and I know we're probably running a little over the hour mark here, so I'll be brief. But um, video is huge, right? And it doesn't need to be anything fancy. If you want to elevate your brand and you want it really good, sure, hire professionals, make it look great, make great lighting, all that. But it's not needed. And I want to be clear, it's really not needed. And there's some things like testimonials that actually are better when they look raw and real, whether it's through an iPhone or through webcam, just like this. You don't need some fancy Shure microphone to be able to do it, right? Like all you need, toss in some AirPods or something and just talk to a camera and answer questions for patients. And while it's not the only thing, it will at least position you, because video content, as mentioned, is like it's evergreen. It will just compound. So just get in the habit of filming it, right? Get in the habit of being in front of camera. And I know a lot of doctors don't like being on camera because they're experts at what they do and they're not actors, right? Like, and you don't have to be an actor. You just have to be you. Treat it like you're sitting in front of a camera or sitting directly in front of a patient, because at the end of the day, there's a patient on the other side of that listening, right? Just like they were coming into a consultation. So you don't need to put on a performance. You don't need to suddenly start studying Denzel Washington for the best tricks and tips, right? Like, no, none of that. Just talk, answer the question. And even from an editing standpoint, we're in a generation that, like, weirdly enough, even though we're like ADHD generation, people like that unfiltered, uncut format. It performs really well. So, like, if you look at podcasts, people go and listen to a 2-hour podcast. And as long as it's interesting, it's giving them good info. And I can tell you the reason is people are sick of fake. They can see when things are authentic and not, and they're craving human connection. And so if they're craving human connection, imagine what they want from their doctors, right? Like the people that literally are potentially saving their life, like their lives are in your hands. And so they want something real and authentic. Don't worry about making it super flashy or anything. Just talk to them. And of course, I have to say, like, it's not just that, but it's something you can do immediately. But make sure you are focusing on, I hate saying it, but everything. But to begin, I would say video is the best place to start, because it will get you immediate results if you utilize it properly. And well, I guess actually is a good transition. I'll get ready for the shameless plug. But is there any other questions or anything? I think we're over the hour mark. So thank you everybody for sticking around if you're still here. But Marley, is there any other questions or anything like that?
I think if you have any other questions, you can always ask on a call with Zach and Sam.
We mentioned it at the beginning, but should you be a little overwhelmed, should you not know where to go next, maybe your team doesn't have the capacity, or maybe your agency isn't giving you the results you want, doesn't matter. Let us know and sign up. If you sign up today for a free marketing review, you can either click in the description of the chat, however the team has it set up on the landing page. There'll also be an email that goes out afterwards. Make sure you sign up. And today, if you sign up, we have a limited capacity, because what we do is Sam and I personally create and tailor a strategy and an audit specific to your practice. We only do 5 to 10 at a time before we have to push back the other one. So if you don't want to be stuck waiting in the new year and you want to get going now, then I recommend you sign up, because Sam and I will personally meet with you. It's important for us to be part of that. No matter how large we get, we talk to our clients, because it's just really important from a communication standpoint that we give you the best info possible. We care more about the relationship. And it's not just like a number on a sheet for us. And so what you'll receive on that is a complete audit of your current SEO and GEO strategies. So we'll find any holes, gaps, where you can improve, what you're doing well, what you're doing wrong, right? An AI readiness assessment. And really all that means is, how much foundation do you have built up? And are you ready to implement some AI strategies as well? But to get there, sometimes you need more of a foundation that is more allowing of AI and going to improve the results. Um, and the next is a traffic risk analysis, right? So, are you in danger of what happened to HubSpot? And if you are in danger, you should find that out. And we can tell you that, because if not, you could see overnight that your traffic plummets. It might already be plummeting and you just haven't looked at the numbers yet. So, check out Google Analytics, check out SEMrush online, and find out, is your traffic dipping down? But if not, we will look into a lot of that for you. Human centric strategy roadmap. So, what does that mean? To have that human centric strategy, we can help tailor something specific to you and give you a roadmap of what that looks like. And we'll give you a personalized action plan. Again, no cost, no obligation, no nothing, right? We're that's not our goal here. Our goal is to add value. That's the most important thing since we started this company, is to add value to practices, because we found that there was a lot of clinics that were in desperate need of this, and we want to make sure that patients get seen, and in an age that they're going sometimes to the wrong clinics, we want to help steer them towards the right clinics. And we found some of the best doctors weren't able to stand out because they didn't have the systems in place. And so we don't care about getting you in and worrying about getting you as a client, right? Like, if you want to work with us, great. If you don't, great. We just want to help you out and give you an actionable plan and build a relationship with you going forward. And we're going to have a bunch more webinars, and there's going to be YouTube content online endlessly to really help you out. So just fill out the quick form. It'll take you less than 2 minutes. We'll analyze the practice, and then we'll schedule a strategy call. You can just book a time right there, and it connects to our calendars, and we'll spend some time beforehand to kind of ready everything for you. And then we'll also ask some more questions and stuff when we jump in. So with that being said, Sam, is there anything else that I'm missing here that you'd like to add in?
I think you did a good job of covering everything. I think one takeaway from this whole thing is, just be authentically you. Like, that's your superpower. So always think of that first.
100%. It's true. Yeah. Seems corny, but it's true. Authenticity revolution. It's a real thing. It really is. So with that being said, it looks like we're over our time. Thank you so much for joining this. We really appreciate you being part of our very first webinar. It's very exciting for us. We've been working hard, and we have a bunch more in the works. And yeah, so thank you everybody that joined in, and we really look forward to talking to some people and helping out whoever we can. So yeah, again, sign up as soon as possible. But yeah, anyway, that's it. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate the time.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.